was staffed in Detroit, General Motors marketing division. I actually love Detroit. I'm a few people that I think wants a vacation home in Detroit. But it just wasn't for me. And then I moved over to Target and worked in their buying program. And, you know, it was a good experience. And for a lot of people, that's enough. But it wasn't feeding the sort of bug I had to kind of feel the creative side that I had coming out of business school. So I moved over to MTV. And it's where I started kind of learning the digital side of the business at MTV. We acquired a couple companies. iFilm, which nobody probably remembers in this room, was sort of the first sort of viral video platform, if you will. We acquired Neopets and Xfire, and I was on the team sort of acquiring those companies and figuring out what we were going to do with them. And from MTV, I left and started my own agency, essentially, that I ran for 4.5 years, doing digital content for brands. And that's where I spent once a month, every month in Cincinnati, working at Procter & Gamble. And working with the brands to understand how they can make content, not commercials, but actually entertain and market and promote their products. And really understood how advertisers are going to work directly with the brand space. From P&G, we also signed Dan at my agency and worked closely with them. I then produced a kids show for Disney Channel for 2 seasons called What's Up Warthogs. Sold 3 film projects to Paramount and quickly understood how painstaking and just in some way on the business side awful that business is. It's a very unreliable business in a lot of ways from a dollars and cents standpoint. And then about 6 months before I started FullScreen, I started consulting for YouTube. YouTube at the time was sort of just maturing at a platform and trying to figure out, like, you know, how do we work? They launched the partner program, which allows creators to monetize their videos and sharing that revenue. But they're still trying to figure out how we move quicker in the entertainment space, how we work with more high-profile creators, and how we work with brands, especially. YouTube was not, it was still a home for silly cat videos back then. It wasn't taken seriously by Madison Avenue, the marketers, and it wasn't taken seriously by Hollywood either. And the last 2 years have been a renaissance for YouTube, partly because they put $300 million into Hollywood, which always helps. Big Hollywood companies like to get paid. But also because they've grown up a lot. And I'm going to talk more at the end about where YouTube is headed. So all that has led to FullScreen, which is now my life, everything I do. We have 10,000 channels at FullScreen on YouTube, 10,000 of the top channels that we work with every day. We also run YouTube for NBC, Fox, Univision, Viacom, Condé Nast, Hearst, all those big media companies, McDonald's, General Electric, Verizon. We run YouTube for them as well. So a little bit about FullScreen and kind of what we do. You know, we think of FullScreen as a service company for creators. And a creator could be a YouTuber, a creator could be Fox or Univision, a creator could be McDonald's or GE or a traditional brand. You know, Fox came to us, and we have a partnership with them. I'm sure you guys all know American Idol, and also know that American Idol is fading fast. And they're desperate for a new music platform, new music brand. So they came to us and said, hey, can we create a music show with you guys? We'll even put Ryan Seacrest in it. All of us will own it together. And we will build it on YouTube, and we'll incubate the format on YouTube. And if it grows, we'll bring it back to linear TV. And that's what we're working on with them with the show called Epic Covers that is likely going to involve Ryan as well. So it's just interesting how these worlds are colliding. 10,000 of the top channels on YouTube. We have a team of 30 people. All they do is watch YouTube and discover talent. We're always hiring for that team if anybody's interested. But literally, that's all they do is discover talent on YouTube. They sign them into our network. We're signing probably 150 channels a week. It's a fun team to be on. We service those creators with a technology ecosystem that is unparalleled. So we have about 45 developers and engineers. And things like, I don't know if you guys know what annotations are on YouTube, but there's those links you put in a video, and they really drive a lot of connection across the platform. You know, they're a pain to put on individual videos. So we built a bulk annotation tool that allows our creators to add, change, or delete all their annotations in their entire library with one click. Right? That's an example of a tool we built. We built a lot of sponsorship tools for our creators to access for marketers, brands, to create sponsored campaigns within our dashboard and have our creators, that match their target audience, be able to participate in them. And we productized it. And now that sponsored tool is generating like $250,000 of revenue a month and growing very fast. We created a merch solution. We created a music library. So all of our creators have access to rights-free songs and sound effects that they can put in their videos and not have to worry about clearing rights, which is a big issue in that space. So we service a lot of this tech ecosystem, connecting content creators with advertisers that I talked about already. And then, I look at FullScreen as building, programming, defining content in the world's largest video platform. We are sort of the pioneers of what's happening on YouTube. I do believe, and there's still work to be done, that YouTube is going to become the next version of cable. They're going to become the pipelines. The economics on the platform still have a lot of ways to evolve, but they're happening all the time. This sort of idea of the commoditization of distribution, I think is pretty interesting in the sense of when broadcast television was around and all you had was those four options, they had a complete monopoly. And basically, they were the gatekeepers to everything content. Cable came around, and what did cable first do? Cable first started by actually licensing and aggregating content. The HBOs of the world, the AMCs, they were just showing other people's content at first. Then they started making their own content. And all of a sudden, cable is really where all the best compared to broadcast. NBC's a disaster. Compared to broadcast, the cable companies are actually ones making money now. You move into digital, you have really infinite distribution. So what happens is interesting in the digital world is distribution becomes a commodity. Traditionally, having distribution is half the ballgame. Just being on air, right? That's half the ballgame. And then the other half is great content. In digital, it's not about that. Everybody has distribution. How hard is it to create a YouTube channel? 2 seconds, right? It's not hard at all. It's not even hard to join the partner program anymore. All those restrictions are gone. So the fact that you have distribution means nothing. It's the fact of how do you develop audiences, how do you market it, how do you get people to share and talk about and socialize your content, and still how do you make great content.